They call it a noble profession. They say doctors save lives. But who saves the doctor when their soul feels empty? When every smile in the hallway feels forced, every shift feels heavier, and the heart that once burned with purpose now beats out of habit? It's the silent war nobody talks about, the spiritual exhaustion hiding behind white coats and stethoscopes. See, burnout in healthcare isn't just about long hours or lack of sleep. It's something deeper. It's waking up one morning and realizing that medicine, something that once felt like a calling, has started to feel like a cage. Some doctors pray quietly in the on-call room, others stare blankly at the wall, wondering when their faith in healthcare started to fade. And yet, in that silence, there's still a whisper, a chance to rediscover strength not from caffeine or vacation days, but from something divine. This video isn't just another self-care talk. It's about spiritual healing for doctors. It's about rediscovering purpose in medicine, finding hope when faith feels faint, and learning that God and medicine were never meant to be separate. If you've ever felt that you're giving healing to everyone except yourself, this is for you. Because maybe, just maybe, this war isn't meant to destroy you, but to awaken you. The hidden battle, understanding the depth of Dr. Burnout. It's strange, isn't it? How a person who spends their days saving others can be quietly drowning inside. Dr. Burnout isn't just about being tired. It's about emotional exhaustion in medicine that eats away at the soul. Many medical professionals wake up with an ache that rest can't fix, feeling trapped between compassion and collapse. This kind of fatigue can make even the most purpose-driven healthcare worker question their calling. It's like running on empty with a smile that hides the cracks forming underneath the surface. Think about it. A doctor spends years training to heal others, but never learns how to heal themselves. They're taught to diagnose pain but not to process it. Hospital burnout support groups can help, sure, but most doctors won't admit they need it. Pride and duty often keep them silent, even as their faith in healthcare quietly flickers. But recognizing that something's wrong isn't weakness. It's the first sign of wisdom, the first whisper of spiritual strength returning. And here's where the turning point begins. Because once a doctor realizes that burnout isn't a sign of failure but a signal for transformation, everything shifts. The journey toward healthcare burnout recovery begins not in the hospital, but in the heart. Yet that's only the surface. Underneath lies something even more profound, the connection between faith and medicine and how it can restore the healer's own spirit. When faith meets medicine, rediscovering purpose beyond the prescription pad. There comes a moment when every doctor realizes that medicine alone can't heal everything. You can prescribe medications, close wounds, and perform miracles in surgery, but when a patient's spirit is broken, science reaches its limit. That's where faith steps in. Faith in healthcare isn't about religion in the workplace. It's about seeing the divine fingerprints in the act of healing itself. When doctors embrace that truth, something powerful happens. Their work becomes worship, and the hospital becomes sacred ground. For Christian doctors, faith and medicine were never meant to be separate worlds. Picture a surgeon who prays before every operation, not for success, but for the peace to accept whatever outcome comes. Or the pediatrician who silently whispers hope over every child they treat. This is the quiet power of spiritual encouragement for doctors. It turns burnout into purpose, and duty into devotion. It's the difference between exhaustion and endurance, between despair and divine strength. And maybe that's the missing piece in modern healthcare. We've mastered machines, but forgotten the miracle of meaning. Doctors who reconnect with their faith discover something extraordinary. Healing the healer is just as sacred as healing the patient. Yet to fully embrace that truth, they must go deeper, beyond belief and into transformation. And that's where the real spiritual healing for doctors begins. Healing the healer, rebuilding strength from the inside out. Every doctor knows how to repair a body, but few know how to mend a weary spirit. Healing the healer requires more than rest days or motivational quotes. It's about rebuilding the soul that medicine has worn thin. Many medical professionals think resilience in healthcare comes from grit or caffeine, but true strength grows in stillness, prayer, and reconnection. It's in those quiet moments, alone in a parked car after a long shift, that faith in the workplace transforms exhaustion into reflection. Consider this. Emotional healing for medical professionals often starts with permission. Permission to feel human, to admit that even heroes need healing. Some doctors have started journaling their prayers after rounds, using those words to process the invisible wounds that no scan can detect. Others turn to scripture or meditation before entering the ward, asking for spiritual strength for doctors who carry burdens unseen by others. These small, intentional acts can be the beginning of burnout recovery for doctors who've forgotten what peace feels like. The beauty is, healing doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's in a moment of silence before a shift, or in the decision to forgive yourself for not being perfect. Slowly, the heart starts to remember why it chose this path: to serve, to love, to bring light into dark places. And as that inner fire rekindles, another truth surfaces, one that speaks not just to healing, but to purpose. Because restoring hope in healthcare isn't just about survival, it's about rediscovering why you started in the first place. Purpose in medicine. Remembering the calling behind the career. Somewhere between the night shifts, the endless paperwork, and the emotional toll, many doctors forget why they started. Purpose in medicine isn't found in titles or paychecks. It's found in those quiet, sacred moments when a patient whispers, "Thank you, doctor." It's in the relief on a mother's face, in the gratitude of a life saved. But when emotional exhaustion in medicine sets in, those moments can blur into routine. Reigniting that sense of calling means returning to the heart of it all, the reason they chose to heal in the first place. Finding purpose in healthcare often begins with reflection. Many faith-driven healthcare workers take time each week to reconnect with their mission through prayer, gratitude lists, or simply sitting in silence before the day begins. A Christian doctor might keep a small cross in their coat pocket, touching it when stress rises, a reminder that God and medicine walk hand in hand. These gestures might seem small, but they anchor the spirit when everything else feels unstable. They restore clarity, reminding the doctor that their work is more than clinical, it's spiritual service. And when that clarity returns, something powerful happens. Work becomes meaningful again. Stress management for doctors stops being about escaping the job and starts being about embracing it with renewed faith. The once broken spirit begins to rise with quiet confidence. But there's one more step, a deeper, more transformative one, that ties all of this together. Learning to sustain hope, not just for patients, but for themselves, even in the darkest seasons of healthcare. Restoring hope, building lasting resilience through faith and community. Hope is medicine for the soul, and for doctors, it's often the rarest prescription. Restoring hope in healthcare isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about finding strength in connection. When healthcare workers come together in faith, whether through small prayer circles, mentorship programs, or faith-based support groups, they remind each other that they're not alone in the fight. Spiritual warfare in healthcare is real, but unity turns isolation into power. Every shared story, every moment of compassion, becomes a form of healing in itself. Resilience in healthcare grows when faith meets fellowship. A burnt-out doctor who joins a community of Christian healthcare workers often rediscovers what solitude had stolen: belonging. Together they pray for strength, share their scars, and celebrate the small miracles that still happen daily. These moments build an unshakable sense of purpose-driven healthcare, one that transcends exhaustion and fear. Through these connections, the journey of burnout recovery for doctors turns from a lonely battle into a shared mission of hope and renewal. Because at the end of the day, every doctor is both a healer and a human. Faith during burnout isn't about denying the struggle. It's about believing that God still works through weary hands. Healthcare spirituality reminds us that medicine heals the body, but faith restores the heart. And when those two forces unite, even the most exhausted doctor can rise again, stronger, wiser, and filled with divine purpose, ready to keep healing others, one act of love at a time. Maybe the real miracle in medicine isn't just saving lives, it's saving your own soul along the way. Every heartbeat you restore, every patient you comfort, every night you stay awake fighting exhaustion, it all means something. But you can't keep giving healing if you never receive it. So here's the truth. Your faith, your purpose, your spirit, they're not side notes to your career. They are the foundation. It's time to reconnect with that sacred calling and let it breathe life into every corner of your practice. Ask yourself, when was the last time you felt God's peace in the middle of your shift? When did you last pause, not to fix someone else, but to let Him fix you? Imagine what would happen if every doctor, nurse, and healthcare worker rediscovered that divine strength within them. Hospitals would feel different. Medicine would feel holy again. And burnout? It would no longer define your story. It would become the chapter where your revival began. So if this message spoke to your heart, don't let it fade when the video ends. Take a moment to share it with another doctor who needs hope today. And hey, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because this community is just getting started. Together, we'll keep exploring how faith and medicine can heal not just the world, but you, the healer. Because your story isn't over, it's just beginning.